Hello friends. So in the previous video we have just started our discussion on the various types of power electronic circuits, right? So to start with, we have actually gone through the diode rectifiers, then we went to the DC to DC converters, or they are also called as DC choppers. So diode rectifiers, what do? They convert AC into a fixed DC supply. DC to DC converters, they convert DC from one level to another level. DC to AC converters also we saw, which is also called as inverters. These are used to make the DC supply into AC supply. Okay, so these were the three things that we have seen in the previous video. So now we will start with AC to DC converters. So I already told you rectifiers also basically does the same purpose, right? It is also converting AC to DC. But I have told you AC to DC, this is doing AC to fixed DC. Whenever the anode is positive with respect to cathode, the diode will conduct. But however, when you are using AC to DC converters, you are doing it in a controlled manner. Okay, so that is why they are also known as controlled rectifiers. So we will start with AC to DC converters today. So AC to DC converters. So for using AC to DC converters, you don't use your normal diodes. Okay, because in a normal diode, you cannot control when it is getting turned on. Whenever anode is positive with respect to cathode, it will turn on, right? See, you are having a simple diode like this. Whenever the anode is positive with respect to cathode, the diode will conduct, okay? And whenever anode is negative with respect to cathode, for example, it is like this, anode, cathode. Whenever anode is negative with respect to cathode, it will act as an open circuit. This is the basic idea you know till now. So for this, we use special power electronic devices which are known as thyristors, silicon controlled rectifiers. These are all different names. Okay, so you use thyristors to obtain a controlled DC using your AC supply. So in the previous videos also I told you, when we are just having a basic idea on transistors, MOSFETs, etc. Whenever you supply a gate signal to all these equipments, it gets turned on. So that is the basic idea here. So if you see the basic circuit, how you get the control is that we achieve the control. I am writing this so that you can also make small notes along with this, so that you have something to remember. So achieve the control by application of a gate signal to the thyristor. Okay, so the basic idea I will show you. So for example, this is your circuit. So this is your input voltage V in. So we are using a transformer, and see, in a normal diode, what do? You are connecting something like this. Okay, so if you just roughly draw the diagram quickly. So if this is your V in, right? So what was your V out for a half controlled or a half wave rectifier? So this will be your V out, right? So positive cycle you get output, negative cycle you don't get output. Okay, so that is the basic idea of a diode rectifier. But however, you are using a thyristor here. So in a thyristor there is another component which is called a gate. So there is a gate. So the basic idea here is that when the anode is positive with respect to the cathode. Okay, when the anode is positive with respect to cathode and the gate signal applied, then T1 will conduct. And when the anode is negative with respect to the cathode, T1 will not conduct. There that diode signal is not important. Okay, Tn will not conduct. Okay, so in a diode rectifier, the basic difference here is that in a diode rectifier, whenever the anode is positive with respect to cathode, D1 will conduct. But here in T1 or in a thyristor, the basic idea is that whenever the anode is positive with respect to cathode, as well as when the gate signal is applied, only then the thyristor will conduct. When you draw the graphs, things will be a little bit more clear. So we will just use a simple half wave rectifier here. So this is a half controlled rectifier. Okay, so I have written all the important points here. You are using a thyristor and the control is achieved by using a gate signal. Okay, so we will draw the graphs now. So quickly draw the circuit once again. How much ever time you draw the circuit, that much you will have good understanding about the subject. Okay. So just like the previous video, we can just take the positive half cycle and we'll mark the polarities. Okay. But however, in this case, I'll just mark it directly. So this is V0, T1, and this is your R. So for example, this is your input voltage. So this is your input voltage I am drawing. So this is time. This is your Vin. Okay. Vin will be Vm sin omega t. So this value is Vm here. So in the previous video, what did we see? In the previous diode rectifier, whenever this anode is positive with respect to cathode in the positive half cycle, so here anode is positive with respect to cathode, right? So in this case, positive half cycle. Here anode is negative with respect to cathode. So here diode will not conduct. Okay. So here what we have to do, here we have to give gate signal. Only then that thyristor will activate. Okay. I am again telling you, we will be going through all these explanations again. So that's not an issue. So we will just take some values here. So we will just take it as omega t. 0, this is pi, and this is 2 pi. Okay. Now we have to give a gate signal. So that gate signal we will mark it as Ig, or you can mark it as Vg also, that's not a problem here. So what we are going to do, this is the positive half cycle. I will give the pulse after an angle alpha. So this is the pulse that is going to go to the thyristor. Okay. And who is giving that pulse? That a microprocessor will give, which is the brain of the circuit. So after an angle alpha, we are going to give a pulse. So the basic idea here is that, see, in a diode rectifier, you are going to get the output like this. In a diode rectifier, this was the output that you are going to get. Right? This was the output. But here what happens, only when the gate signal is applied, only after the gate signal is applied, you are going to get an output, right? So that is the basic idea here. So your conduction of the thyristor, will only happen after alpha. Okay. So the T1 will conduct only after alpha. So we will see the time intervals. Okay. So we will take the time interval from 0 to alpha and alpha to pi. So from 0 less than omega t less than alpha. That means from 0 to alpha, anode is positive with respect to cathode. Anode is positive with respect to cathode, but the gate signal is not applied, right? But gate signal is not applied. Gate signal is not applied here. So what will happen? The T1 will not conduct. So the circuit will be like this. Right? The circuit will be like this. So T1 is not conducting. So what will be the V0 value? The V0 value will be equal to 0. Okay. That means from 0 to alpha, V0 will be equal to 0. Okay. So this is V0 graph. So this is the basic idea here. This is alpha 0, alpha pi. But once you reach the alpha value, that is when omega t alpha less than omega t less than pi. That is when the time period between alpha to pi. So at alpha you are giving the triggering. And you can see that anode is positive with respect to cathode, positive half cycle. So at this point what will happen? The thyristor will conduct. And what will be the V0 value? V0 value will be equal to Vi. Okay. So what will happen from here? The graph will be exactly as same as Vi. Okay. So this is the Vi graph, right? So now V0 will be equal to Vi, like this. After this point, right? That is omega t greater than pi. What will happen? Anode is negative. Right? Anode is negative with respect to cathode. This is the negative half cycle. So here anyway V0 will be equal to 0, irrespective of whether it is becoming a gate signal is given or not. This is not a condition where a thyristor will trigger on. So here what happens? The V0 is anyway equal to 0, because here anode is negative with respect to cathode. Here anode was positive with respect to cathode, but here see 0 to alpha, anode is positive with respect to cathode, but gate signal is not applied. After gate signal is applied, V0 will be equal to Vo, because the thyristor is getting activated. After pi, you can see it is a negative substrate. So after, again for the next half cycle, after an alpha I can give a trigger. Okay, so the next triggering will be given at 2 pi plus alpha. Right? First triggering is given at alpha, positive half cycle, then it is the negative half cycle, so you don't have to bother. So the next triggering, to have proper symmetry, the next one will be given at 2 pi plus alpha. So the graph will be same way here. Here anode is positive. For the next positive half cycle, you can see that anode is positive with respect to cathode, but the triggering is given at 2 pi plus alpha. So till it reaches 2 pi plus alpha, the V0 will be equal to 0, because the thyristor only conducts when gate signal is given. So it will be like this, V0 will be equal to 0, and you can see that the graph will become like this. After 2 pi plus alpha, T1 will again conduct. Okay, so you can see, depending upon the position of the alpha where I am giving, I can give the alpha here, right? So in this case, the alpha will be shifted here. I can give the alpha here, I can give the alpha here, or I can start the alpha here itself. So in this case, it will be just same as the diode rectifier. If I give the triggering at alpha equal to 0 or at omega t is equal to 0, I am giving the triggering. So it will be same as the diode rectifier. The graph will start from here. So you can see that by varying the angle alpha, I can vary the value of this output voltage, because ultimately the RMS value is depending upon the area of this graph, right? The RMS value or the average value, etc. These are depending upon the area of graph. So depending upon where I am triggering the circuit, I will have different values of V0 here. Okay, so this alpha, which is also called as the triggering angle. Okay, this alpha is also called as the triggering angle here. Okay, so also called as the triggering angle. So depending upon the value of alpha, by changing the value of alpha, we can change the value of V0. When we discuss these things in detail, we will see with some simulations also, by changing the value of alpha, how you are getting different value of V0 here. Okay, so this is the controlled rectifiers or AC to DC converters. So usually when you use the word converters, it is something which you can change and adjust and all this thing. So I hope that is clear. Next one is AC to AC converters. AC to AC converters. Okay, so here what you do, you change the value of AC. Change the value of AC. So it is used to control the value of AC. We can write control the value of AC. So for this, another special device is used, which is called a triac. Okay, so whenever you think of control, I have told you, right? So for example, I have told you, see the value of a waveform, RMS value, average value, etc. In this case, let us take RMS value. It is always depending upon the area of this graph. You know that the formula is I square for any waveform. You know that it is the, for example, is f square t dt integral 0 to t 1 by t. So this is the basic idea of RMS value, right? So you know that this area of graph is important. So when I am telling that control the AC voltage, what you can do is that you control the graph. You control the amount of, control the voltage waveform of the output. That is a way you can control the AC voltage. Okay, so for this also a special device is used, which is called a triac. So what basic idea of a triac is that you are having a condition where a thyristor, it is like a thyristor only, but it can conduct in both directions. It can conduct in the positive half cycle, it can conduct in the negative half cycle also. So this is the basic symbol of a triac here. So there is a gate signal. So this is R, this is V0, this is V in, okay, and this is the current direction. Okay, so this device is called a triac, which can conduct in both directions. Conduct in both the directions. Okay, conduct in the both direction, both half cycles. It can conduct in the positive half cycle and it can conduct in the negative half cycle. That is the basic idea here. So for example, you are having your input waveform. So this is your V input. Okay, so let this be your V input. So this is with respect to omega t, and we'll take it as Vm here. Okay, so I have told you in the previous example, See, in the negative half cycle, a thyristor cannot conduct. Even if you give the gate signal, in the negative half cycle, a thyristor cannot conduct. But however, in a triac, if you give a gate signal in the negative half cycle, it will conduct in the negative direction. So in the positive direction, the current is moving from this side to this side. In the negative direction, the current will move from the opposite direction. Okay, so that is the basic idea here. So for example, we will just give triggering now, this omega t, and we will give triggering at two areas here. Okay, so this is 0, this is pi, this is 2 pi. So here we will give the triggering at alpha. Okay, the triggering is given at alpha, and for the negative half cycle also we will give the same distance alpha here. So this in graph you see this will be pi plus alpha, right? So if this is alpha and pi to this is at pi plus alpha. Okay, so this is the basic idea here. So you are giving a gate signal here, the positive half cycle to the triac, and you are giving a gate signal in the negative half cycle also. Okay, so in both directions it will conduct. So what will happen is that, oh sorry, I used the red color here. Okay, and you can see how important it is to draw the diagrams properly in power electronics. So this is pi, this is pi plus alpha, this is alpha, pi plus alpha. So let us take the positive half cycle. So in the positive half cycle you can see that, just take this top portion. Okay, in the top portion you take. So in the positive half cycle the current will be in this direction, right? The current will be in this direction. So if you let us connect the voltmeter now. So we will connect the voltmeter here, and let this be the basic polarity here. So in the positive half cycle, till it is triggered, it will not conduct. Till it triggers, it will not be conducting, right? That we saw in the previous example. So it will not trigger till alpha. Okay, so at the till alpha the value will be 0. V0 will be 0 till alpha. But however, after the alpha value, after the triac has been triggered, the current will go like this, and you will get a positive negative polarity. Like this is the current direction. So this value of V0, same polarity as the voltmeter. So it is positive value, right? So positive value, and what will be the value? That will be same as Vin, right? V0 will be equal to Vin. Why V0 will be equal to Vin? Simple, like this. This is your Vin. This is your V0. So V0 will be equal to Vin. V0 will be equal to Vin. Okay. So we will just have a trace of the Vin value. We will just mark these values here properly. Okay. It is always better that you have a trace of the V in value so that you can understand the things properly. Okay. So at the positive half cycle you see now V0 is equal to Vin. After the triggering, triac will conduct and it will move like this. Okay. So it will go like this. Now you reach the negative half cycle. Okay. Now at the negative half cycle, naturally the thyristor will turn off. Thyristor will turn off. But triac is a device which can turn on in the negative half cycle also. But you should give trigger. Every time triggering is important. Now it reaches the negative half cycle, but because you have not given the trigger in the negative half cycle, it will not conduct. It will not conduct means V0 equal to 0. So V0 will be equal to 0 from this pi to pi plus alpha, right? Pi to pi plus alpha it will be 0. So I think just I'll write the graph here. So 0 less than omega t less than alpha, right? So it is the positive half cycle, and the V0 will be equal to 0 because triggering is not given. Okay. So alpha less than omega t less than pi, it is the positive half cycle, triggering is given. So V0 will be equal to Vn. V0 will be equal to Vn. Now from pi to pi plus alpha, from pi less than omega t less than pi plus alpha, it is the negative half cycle, but the triggering is not given. Triggering is not given, so V0 will be equal to 0. Right. Now in the negative half cycle, you know that the polarities will be reversed, right? Polarities will be reversed here. So in the negative half cycle, it will be like this. This is positive, this is negative, right? And now you are giving trigger. So look at this bottom one. Bottom one, you can see that the current is the opposite. This is the meaning of the triac. So in the positive half cycle, this will conduct. Negative half cycle, this will conduct. So this is going to conduct. So the direction will be in this direction from right to left. Okay. So the current will go like this. Current direction will be like this. So let us see the polarity. See, resistance across polarity is in the opposite direction. So the voltmeter will deflect in the opposite direction. Or we can tell that in the negative half cycle, V0 will be equal to minus V. Okay, that means this negative half cycle voltage. Okay, so we will go to the negative half cycle here. Okay, so this is plus V in and this is minus V in. So it will go like this. Don't think that this is negative V in, minus of minus V in, plus V in. That is not the idea here. Okay, it is the negative half cycle. That is the only thing. So here it will conduct in the negative half cycle like this. Okay, so you can clearly see from this graph, which is looking like this, from 0 to pi, see the graph has been reduced. So the effective waveform is only this much, right? The effective waveform is only this much. Naturally, so the V0 value will be less than the V in value. So is it controlled? Yes, it is controlled. So if you change the firing angle from 0 to pi if you change, you can reduce the value of V0, or you can get a AC to AC converter. You are controlling the AC voltage. Okay. Of course, again I am telling you, we will be going through all these things properly. And finally, then the static switch. See, these there is nothing big to explain here. This is just a subtopic. So in the static switch, basically what, see, all these power electronic devices can be used as switches. Okay, switches, they can be used as contactors, etc. So that is the basic idea. So as a, we can use the power semiconductor devices as switches or contactors, etc. Because ultimately what you are doing, you are giving a gate signal and you are turning it on. You are that is the way you are controlling all these things. Okay, so now let us just take an example system. Okay, we will take an example power electronic system. Simple thing we will take. This is a simple uninterrupted power supply that you might have in your house. Uninterrupted power supply. So we will see how it is now. So this is your mains. So this is your mains here, and here you are having a bypass switch. We will see what is all these things. Very quickly we will see. Bypass switch, and this is your load. Okay. So one is that the mains is directly connected to the load here. Okay. So the next part of the mains 2. Okay. Here is where the power electronics part is going to come. So what you are going to do, you are first going to rectify it. So the input AC is converted to DC, and you will charge a battery bank. Okay. And no, I have to not put the battery here. I have to put the battery at the output stage, right? So from this AC, from the mains is AC supply. It will be rectified into a DC, and that is given to a battery bank. Okay. And then you are having an inverter section. This is a basic block diagram of a UPS. So in the inverter section, DC is taken and converted into AC. DC is converted to AC. Then you will usually have an isolation transformer, and it is given here. So what is the basic idea here? In the normal condition, you can give mains directly to the load. Okay. At the same condition, what do you do? So in this case, bypass switch, you will be you can connect it here, and it will be giving to the load. Okay. At the same time, what will happen? This AC main, it will be rectified, and a battery bank will be charged. Why this battery bank is charged? When the power supply is not available, when the mains power supply is not available, what will happen? The switch will come here. The switch will connect this section here, and this battery supply will be converted. This battery is DC. That DC is converted to AC, and then that is given to the load. Okay. Don't think that this is going this is negative, it is negative. No, this is a single line diagram. Okay, so the basic idea is this is a single line diagram. Okay, so you can have mains directly connected to load. Okay, at the same time, what happened? The mains is used to charge the battery, and whenever there is a power supply outage, this inverter action will start kicking in, and this battery DC is converted to AC, and through the isolation transformer, it is given to the load. Of course, a UPS system is a little bit more complex than the simple explanation that I have given here. When we discuss about UPS, we will go through a proper block diagram. This is a very, very basic diagram here. Okay, so that is the basic idea here. Now we will just see a table, an interesting table. So that table, first portion is conversion from, and then you are having the converter name, and then you are having the symbol. Very important, symbols are very important. So the first one is AC to DC, then you are having DC to DC, DC to AC, and AC to AC. Okay, so AC to DC, you call it as a rectifier. Usually you call it as a rectifier, right? So the symbol is like this. This is the symbol. Okay, DC to DC, usually it is called a chopper. When it is AC to controlled DC, it is called a controlled rectifier. Okay, all these things you already know. So this is a chopper. Chopper symbol is like this, DC to DC. Then you are having DC to AC, which is, the name is inverter, and symbol is like this. This is DC. Okay, this is the symbol here. And finally you are having AC to AC. AC to AC is also called as cycloconverters. And the symbol is like this. This table has been taken from the book Rashid, so you will find the same namings there. So we will follow a particular naming scheme so that the things are not cluttered. Okay, so I hope you have understood things today, and I don't think it was very difficult today's session. So till I see you in the next video, it's me Varun signing off, and have a great day. Thank you. Now that the video is over, please stay with me for 30 more seconds. Now the vision of this channel is to create a repository of good quality videos with crystal clear explanation regarding various topics related to electrical engineering. Now if you want to help me spread the word, please share this video with anyone interested in these topics. The second thing is that for me, education is a two-way process. Therefore, if you have any doubts or suggestions regarding any of the videos or regarding the channel, please put them in the comments below. We can have a healthy discussion, and that way we can build a strong community of electrical engineers. So that's it for today's video. So till I see you in the next time, it's me Varun signing off, and have a great day. Thank you.